ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea, the official specialty coffee of Disney Parks. You can find Joffrey's Coffee and specialty drinks in the parks, at Disney Springs, or online at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Ho, 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 HolidayThon 2019 continues, and a HolidayThon would not be complete, nor the month of December, without the DVC Roundtable. Everyone cheers. Oh, good Lord. Everyone joining us.
That makes me the eggnog.
Oh, she had to. Oh, the nog's a little extra noggy, I think. Joining us, Mr. Joe Quattrochi.
I'm just happy to be part of the 2019 HolidayThon, Tim.
The pageantry, the tradition, the crazy host. And also join us, Ms. Rebecca Toon.
Ho, 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 everybody.
Nice.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I hope you're all having a wonderful season of joy.
Unfortunately,
Hey.
Emily could not join us. She's
Howdy,
busy
hey.
celebrating the holidays, but also we have Brad Coates. Brad.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm wearing my green Run Disney jacket from last year, and I'm sitting on a counter here, so I'm going to be the proverbial elf on a shelf, all right?
You're
Nice.
sitting on a counter?
Yes, right now I am, but I will move in a minute. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on a chair, but it's a long story.
I appreciate your nimbleness, Mr. Coates.
And you're wearing just a green jacket.
Impressive.
Just a green jacket you're wearing. Interesting.
Well, there's pants that go along with it.
Oh, okay.
Don't go there, Tim. Just don't go
I
there.
was just about to
It's a
admit
family
my
show.
honeymoon.
Oh, come on. This is the holidays. Everybody's having a great time. Let's get right to some. This is a big month for DVC news.
Big month for DVC News. Huge.
Oh, I love when we have big news. Rebecca, do you want to start us off?
I do. I would love to start us off. And what I'm going to start us off with is probably something most people already know or have read about, but DVC's newest resort, Riviera, is now open.
Woo!
Right? Enchantment awaits you at a resort hotel that's inspired by Europe, imagined by Disney. Here you can delight in exhilarating activities, delectable dining, and stylish accommodation. From cozy tower studios, cozy meaning super duper small, to spacious villas with up to 3 bedrooms. Not only will Disney Geraldo Rivera's resort delight families with its gorgeous architectural details and wide range of accommodations, but members and guests will simply fall in love with the sights, sounds, and flavors of Europe around every corner, said Terry Schultz, Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Disney Vacation Club. This new resort will pay tribute to Walt and Lillian Disney's amazing European travels, connecting Disney artistry and storytelling to this region's renowned art heritage. Oh, sorry. I totally just lost my page. And inspiration. Our team can't wait to welcome families to this welcoming and relaxing Disney destination inspired by the world-famous sun-drenched Mediterranean coastline.
Wow.
The Riviera Resort, yeah, right? That's a big, he just made a lot of promises.
A lot of action words in that.
These are a lot of big words, didn't he? Big
This
words.
is what you call a buzzword paragraph in my life. Disney's Riviera Resort is the first all-new, standalone DVC property at Walt Disney World since 2004.
Wow.
That was fascinating to me. I hadn't really thought about it, but wow. On January 29th, 2020, the base price for points at Disney's Riviera Resort will increase from $188 to $195 per point. Current incentives for Riviera offers discounts of approximately $10 per point off a purchase of 175 points and $14 per point off of 250 points. Ownership at Disney's Riviera Resort runs through January 31st, 2070.
Wow.
Let me just let that sink in. 2070. The resort is now open to guests with much fanfare, may I add. At least the fanfare hasn't been all good either.
No.
Yeah.
Forget the Rudolph. Apparently, one guest was reportedly run over by a Murphy bed.
Oh.
At least one guest was reportedly injured on Tuesday when one of the fold-down Murphy beds came off the wall on opening night at Disney's Riviera Resort. If you're not aware what a Murphy bed is, it's the one that pulls down out of the wall. A guest posted comments to Facebook stating that her mother was sleeping in bed when it fell off the wall and landed on top of her.
Oops.
Oops. Big oops. Huge oops.
Yeah.
The post stated, it just collapsed on her. Me and my sister had to struggle to lift up the bed to have her be able to roll out from underneath the bed. Luckily, very luckily, only a few bumps and scrapes, but we are definitely shaken up.
This is a very immersive resort.
Yeah.
The ride experience begins in your hotel room.
Right? If you can't get a fast pass at Galaxy's Edge, check
There
into
you
the
go.
Riviera.
If you weren't worried about the Skyliner.
Make sure you fasten your seatbelt though.
Right.
Tug on the little yellow tab. Make sure.
Yeah. A photo posted by Ashby, who is the daughter, suggests that the bed may not have been properly mounted to the wall. I think that's probably an accurate statement. The image appears to show only 4 hollow wall anchors near the top to support both the bed frame and the guests sleeping within. On Tuesday evening, guests returned to their rooms to find notices from Disney stating that they should not use the beds until further notice. I just want to add a little footnote here. Mm-hmm. They returned to their rooms to find very cheerful and cheery notices in red and green because it's the holidays. The notice read, "We apologize for the inconvenience. This trundle bed is out of order, and for your safety, it cannot be used at this time. We want to ensure your stay is as comfortable as possible. If you had planned to use this bed, please contact the front desk so alternative arrangements can be provided." The trundle beds in question are installed under the flat panel TV, which hopefully that remained on the wall.
What could go wrong?
Right, exactly.
Go wrong? In all deluxe studio, 1 bedroom, in all deluxe studio, 1 bedroom and 2 bedroom villas at Disney's Riviera Resort.
Can I translate that, Rebecca, for you? If you didn't understand that,
I love it. Explain to me, Joe.
So they put the notices in the room. So that's what the lawyers told them to do. That's what legal called out and said do that. Yep. And then part 2 of that was let's call every resort and round up every cot that we could find and bring them over to Riviera. So that's your alternative.
Are they putting them on cots?
What else alternative would you be? What happens if that was like you were,
Listen, I think an alternative is the Grand Villa, quite frankly.
Cots are, it depends how busy it is if they move you to another room. But.
Right.
Yeah,
we do.
I've slept on those trundles, or on the Murphy beds. They're actually really comfortable. So to be from that to a cot, I think I'd be unhappy. I'd be disappointed.
I did hear of somebody that through one of our clients or our agency was moved to a 1-bedroom. So they did find another but eventually they're going to run out of those because everything has them. The 1-bedrooms has moved them to a 1-bedroom in which resort was it?
Oh, another resort.
Yeah, moved them to another resort because the problem is these cots are in every room. They're in the studios. They're in the
right.
They're in every villa, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty soon you're like
under to how long you think it takes them to go through every room and make sure they're safe.
It's hard to say. Boy, they better get on it. But I don't know how they'll be able to really get after it with the busyness of the holidays and stuff.
Right? Yeah. And no joke. These rooms are the rooms that I've seen. I've done a little exploring, and they look beautiful. And the attention to detail in some of the other areas, like the lounge and the restaurants and things, is absolutely incredible. It really is a very pretty resort. But attractiveness aside, Murphy beds falling on my head is not real.
Yeah.
And at $8.31 a point, which is the highest of any DVC resort, stuff better work.
Oh, is that the
that is the estimated
yearly
2020 assessment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe they were projecting having to fix these already.
Yeah, build it in. We know we messed up. We're going to have to fix it. Might as well put it in there now.
We are going to build in the cost of replacing these to the initial.
I'd like to have been in that meeting where they were all in the room saying, now listen, we know we're going to have to fix this, but let's just wait till, we'll get it done before we kill somebody.
Day one.
First day. Well, maybe we got to move a little quicker than we thought.
Is that part of Walt Disney World like haunted, like between the Skyliner not working and now Riviera is like the problem with that? It's like
that's an interesting question. A lot of their new initiatives have. I mean, maybe that's just us because we're talking about them more than we did over past. Maybe we weren't here when the Grand Floridian opened or whatever. But does anybody have any knowledge of other DVC resorts that opened and had mishaps like this?
I can't think of any, but those didn't open. Well, I guess I don't want to say those because there have been resorts in the last few years that have opened. But I mean, as far as like large resorts like Saratoga, Key West, there was no social media present like there is now.
Yeah, exactly.
And think about it when when they opened up the addition at like Wilderness Lodge, like that was already there.
Yeah.
They essentially just gutted it and and just laid it out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really like a new, fresh from the ground resort.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like the original thing said, this is the first one they've built since 2004. That was 15 years ago. So think back with what we were doing on the internet 15 years ago, and it certainly wasn't this.
Yeah, back in the day, you could keep things quiet.
Yeah, and who? Because this is not my area of expertise. Can anybody tell me what resort that was in 2004?
It was Saratoga.
Saratoga. Okay.
And just, I want to correct myself. I was looking at the figures here. Riviera is the highest of any Walt Disney World property, not of all DVC. I apologize about that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Vero Beach is at $10.13 next year.
But don't they worry about the hurricanes and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's... But let me ask you guys a question. Speaking of Riviera, I posted this in our little internal chat. A friend of mine from the Mickey Dudes podcast said that supposedly is the Riviera dues going to go towards maintaining the Skyliner.
I heard that.
Does anybody see anything about that?
I heard that somewhere as well.
How about that?
Exactly.
That would be. Well, I'd be upset if I was members of other resorts and they were saying, if I was at Riviera and they're saying I've got to pay for every other resort that's got a Skyliner.
Well, do you think
that's what they're saying? That wouldn't be
part
good.
of the Do you think that part of Polynesian and Grand Floridian, do they go towards the monorail?
I don't know. That's a good point, but
right.
If they're specifically pointing that out in the meeting,
and I guess if they divided that between all the resorts, well, that's true. None of the other resorts are DVC though, are they? That are on the Skyliner.
No,
they're all. Oh boy. Yeah.
So I wonder if they're paying for one leg of it or a third of it, or how you break that down.
Yeah, if they divided it out and only made them pay the portion, that they do, maybe that would make sense. But boy,
the only way I'd be cool with that is if you're at Epcot and you're like, I'm a Riviera owner, it's like TSA pre-check, you just cut the line, you just kind of board before.
I'd be down for that.
There you go. I like that.
I'd be there. I think that's Anyway, I think.
By the way,
it'll be an interesting sort of continuation of the story to see how well received it is.
I will say that I've talked to multiple people in this last week that have stayed at Riviera already, and every one of them has glowing reports.
Oh, awesome.
Of the resort, the pool.
It's beautiful.
Everything, the bars, everything. They're loving the resort. So
that slide looks incredible.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? The only thing is, was it just me or Joe? Did you get a little bit of a flashback when she started talking about the Geraldo Rivera Resort, and all I could see was him going around the resort with cameras looking for Jimmy Hoffa? I was like, well, what's going on, man?
In the vault room.
Oh, yeah, that property's haunted. I don't know.
Maybe so.
What's funny is I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of limited my I watched a couple YouTube vloggers just to see. I didn't want to overindulge myself because I actually, when we're there, Brad will be there in January. Rebecca, you're not going in January, are you? For a marathon weekend? Okay. But I actually want to be a little bit surprised. And I kind of did the same thing with Coronado Springs with the new tower there. I watched a little bit, got a little taste, but I want to really be surprised. I kind of watched mostly just the room stuff because I don't know when I'm going to stay there. But a lot of like the common areas, I limited my exposure. So I'm looking forward to just walking around the grounds and see what's there. And
I get it.
I did the same thing. I didn't watch any videos. I've just been talking to people that have been there. But yeah, I'm avoiding seeing it because I don't want to see it. Yeah.
The one thing I did see, and I'm sorry if I jumped on top of you, Tim, but I think the fireworks view, I did see some pictures, but they're very. My opinion would be, do not expect California Grill style viewing from this resort because from the pictures what I saw, they're actually going off at the same time, but they're very far away. So if you're at Riviera, it might be cool if you're there having a drink. Oh, let's go outside and take a look at the fireworks. But it's not. I don't think it's going to be the same experience as per se California Grill or standing on the shores of the Poly. That's what the fireworks looked, at least from my vantage point of the pictures that I saw. So I don't think
that's interesting.
Yeah.
But is it the only resort that actually they can see? Because what I saw was they can see the fireworks for Epcot and for Magic Kingdom from the same resort. I don't know if there's any other resorts that could do that, is there?
Maybe Coronado? Maybe the new tower?
Probably new Coronado.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, speaking of the tower, though, I know you said you've been avoiding as much as you can, but did you read any of the reviews of the tower studio rooms there?
That I have not, no.
I believe our friend Lynn Testa over at Touring Plans called them the worst value in Disney World.
Wow.
Wow.
In Lynn we trust. So
listen, Lynn is usually pretty generous with his opinions, but he called this one the way he saw it. He's like, this is not a good deal. And so I quickly did I went to the reservations page and just did a quick search to how much it would stay. And then I looked at the room. I have actually seen New York apartments that are bigger than this. And it is a tiny, tiny place for a lot of money. Wow. So
I think it's gonna wear off. I mean, I think it's gonna be a very nice resort, but I don't think it's gonna have the demand per se of. I would still say even the beach club where you can walk to Epcot or Poly.
It's an interesting attempt to see, I guess, what the market will bear. But in his article, he says, so these tower rooms are 220 square feet, okay? 220. I think I have a closet in my house that's bigger than that.
That's a cruise line cabin.
Yeah.
Wow.
20 square feet, and they start at $377 a night, up to $630 a night.
No.
That's more than $1 per square foot, people.
And you know what? When you're going to be paying $300 and something, that's probably middle of the week, off season, right? You could probably get a room at like Old Key West. I've even seen rooms at like Wilderness Lodge for like mid $350s on like some really off nights. If you get lucky once in a while, get a room for like around that price. That's a way better value than that. If you can find something like that, absolutely.
If I recall correctly, I think Lynn compared it to as far as square feet per person, because you could put up to 4 people on these rooms. And I think he compared it to about the same amount of square feet that you get at most state prisons.
Wow. I assume it's on his show. I need to check that out. I've been
I'll send a link to Tim. Maybe he can link to it in the show notes, because it was it was an interesting read.
Yeah.
It's like I'm all for. I've been on the record for. I'm all for more studio rooms, because I think those are the ones in higher demand. And I think Brad would agree as well.
Yeah,
people want studio rooms, but maybe not that small.
Right?
Yeah, that's
a little bit bigger.
But they're not looking for closets.
Yeah,
and I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like if that's a studio, the Murphy bed may be the only sleeping space there.
It is.
What?
They say they only.
Here's 4 cots, guys.
Go to town.
Well, actually, that one though.
Together.
Yeah, that one's not a it's a Murphy bed, but it's not like those ones that are breaking.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, it's a big fold down on top of a table like they have at Art of Animation.
Like at Art of Animation.
Similar to that, yeah.
It's like the Uncle Jesse, Aunt Becky bed.
Oh, stop it. I love that show.
I know. I think that's why you figured it out.
Anyway, so I would say, shop around before you book that room. Read Lynn's review.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, and speaking of DVC point charts.
Oh, nice.
Was that a good segue?
That was pretty good.
You guys are really good at them. So
Brad, you get the award tonight. You get the
That was
keys
well
to the
done,
car
Brad.
and
Well
the
done, sir.
award.
I was actually trying to build one in where I could use the word Murphy's Law. And
Well, it's apropos.
there you go. Take it away, Brad.
We won't shut up long enough for you to talk, Tim.
You guys bring up good points. I love it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brad.
Hey, so I got story number 2, and the news is finally out. The vaunted new 2020 point system and the discussion of the new system that's coming out in 2021. Disney's changing the Disney Vacation Club point system beginning in 2021. And the changes affect how a DVC owner can use their points for the DVC resorts. Now, when that's how the blurb read, and of course, first thing you're thinking is, okay, how different do you use your points? You use your points. There's only one way to use your points. Well, basically what they're saying is they've come up with a new way. Instead of, I believe there was 4 seasons of the year before, where they had value season, regular season, now they're breaking it down into 7 seasons.
What?
With 7 different point breakdowns for each one of the sections. So I don't know if you were watching, Joe. I don't know if you saw when they floated this for 2020 early in 2019, and it got such a backlash that they took it right off the table.
We talked about it on the show, Brad. I remember that.
Well, that's right, we did. Yeah, so this is, from what I can tell, what I can remember from what I saw before, this is very, very much, it's either the same thing that they were doing before or they may have adjusted it slightly. But the bottom line is they're creating more opportunities. And supposedly it says they'll feature 7 seasons that offer a wide range of options. So the travel periods, of course, with greater demand, they're going to require more points. And travel periods with less demands, according to their studies, will require fewer points. However, those members with more flexible travel schedules, well, guess what? If you can go whenever the lower times are, then they're saying you'll be able to use fewer points by traveling at different times of the year. And so I don't know about you guys. I look at this, and I haven't had a chance to really study it. I think with 7 in the past, I've gone through it and kind of done the comparison, done the breakdown, and invariably when they make a change, it literally looks like each time they do it that the one that's coming out ahead is not necessarily us. Yes, they're moving,
Yeah.
but just doesn't balance out. Like, supposedly you're supposed to either take points off of here and put him on there. But if you're adding more here, you're supposed to take off there. But when you start looking at the numbers, you're like, it doesn't look like it's working out that way. That in the end, it just looks like there's more points as a total. But I don't know. I'm not an expert. But with 7 seasons, boy, when I did look at the charts, what really stuck out to me was there was a few of the seasons before. I haven't looked at the ones this time, but there was some of the seasons where it kind of stayed close to the same. Several seasons where it jumped, and some jumped quite a bit, and then almost none went down. In fact, I don't know if any went down. They started where they used to be, and that was the cheap one, but it didn't go up for the year. But then other seasons went up by quite a bit. So supposedly there are some places in there, some places where it's less points, but yeah. And have you seen any of those, Joe? I haven't looked.
I haven't had a chance to look at, but just basing off of what you said, and I apologize for not looking at this before we recorded the show, but just basing off of what you just said, if it didn't go down anywhere, that means the price of DVC artificially just went up. So if you bought a contract, you say, I bought 120 points because I know when I vacation this time of year, it's like 118 points, 116 points, I'm good to go. If that's now raised and you can't go any other weeks to stay for that, your points have just been artificially it's been inflated. Number two is, I don't know about you guys. I mean, it's a little different for Rebecca because she rents but it's probably similar but it's true. You try being a DVC member and like a few weeks out trying to book a room somewhere. Right. It's a capacity like 99% of the time. Yep. So are you basing the times of the year on demand off of regular hotel stays? Because it's at capacity. It's where they're building more DVC resorts. Thank you. So are you basing it off of okay, so the Grand Floridian in September is 3/4 full or 80% full. So it's a little slow then. So but this time the Grand Floridian in December is super busy. So that makes no sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. DVC is a capacity all year. All the time. Yeah, so exactly. And the thing is, it gets spread out naturally. So if you choose to stay Christmas week, you're prepared to spend those points. If I choose to go the first week of September in the middle of hurricane season, I should get a little bit of a I don't understand. So now if everybody starts going the first week of September, is that going to be raised all of a sudden now?
Yes.
What week is going to go down then? That makes no sense at all. Exactly. And they're creating 7 seasons to confuse people. We don't even have 7 weather seasons. You're creating 7 seasons? There's essentially I don't
even think we have 7 time zones.
So these are the seasons in Disney World. Food and wine, okay? Christmas, all right? Thanksgiving / Christmas is season
Summer.
2.
Yeah. Flower and Garden.
Flower and Garden's the 3rd season. I would say even your Run Disney weekends are seasons because they spread those out.
I think those come in when anything is slow.
And spring break. In spring break, those are your 5 seasons. I mean, literally, that's it.
And summer, which is pizza oven.
Summer, I guess there maybe a 6 seasons. Crap, I look kind of bad saying that. But they're not going to divide it up like that. They're going to create these crazy things. It doesn't make any sense. And again, we go back to this where I still say DVC is such a great value, but I don't know why they're doing this. If they're just trying to curb the rental market, or people are spread out already. The fact is, the demand it's a capacity.
Well,
it's capacity.
There are certain resorts that this is not affecting, and those are resorts that are not part of Disney World. Yeah, Vero Beach, Hilton Head, Grand California, Aulani.
And are they trying to get people to go there? Are they trying to get people to go?
I feel like that's exactly what they're trying to do.
They're trying to get people to go to. Let me ask you a question, Brad. You're a California guy. Why don't they do this to Grand Californian? Because it's at capacity 100% of the time.
Yeah, 100% of the time, exactly. Well, and you nailed it right. Which would have been my main thing about this that's frustrating is that when I read it says right here the point charts are going to be done this day adjusting in order to encourage travel throughout the year with the goal of improving availability. Like you said, they're not available now.
Yeah. So
I don't know how you're moving them from one spot. There is no off season at Disney World anymore.
At least for definitely for DVC, there's no off season. There's none.
And
I just went to book a little quick trip. I was telling you guys I'm going to take a little daddy-daughter trip with my oldest daughter, and it's in May. So it's not 7 months out, but it's
that's Flower and Garden.
Almost 6 months out. Yeah, Flower and Garden. Yep. And I put in for three days, I think, and I told it to bring up every resort, and I had one resort, DVC Resort, with availability, and it was Saratoga Springs. Out of all the resorts in the entire DVC, and we're talking May 2nd, where I get it, it's Flower and Garden, but the planet.
But kids are in school.
School's not out yet.
Yeah, kids are in school.
If you look at the crowd calendar,
it's not a race
not
weekend.
Bad. It's not. This would be what you would think would be a downtime, and there was one resort, and that's the one that has 1 billion rooms, and that's it. Well, good luck, guys.
Overflow, I know Joe said he doesn't know how that affects rentals, but that you see that overflow because we already pay a differentiated amount for depending on the resort, depending on the season.
If the points go up to rent the room, it goes up for you.
Absolutely, and not only that, but just demand makes the point value, the cost of the points. When you book it, where you book it, and all of those things play into it. So even renting is becoming almost prohibitive just based on availability.
Yeah.
And they're just making this much more confusing than it has to be. Like, honestly, when you buy your points, I stay usually the same week every year in September or in January, go down for marathon weekend. I should know like what my points, like I should be able to know I could spend this many days in September or this many days in January. That'll be enough points for my contract for the year. I shouldn't have to be looking around. Like that was one of the whole purposes of buying DVC is like when you booked it, it was like that wasn't a big deal. You knew what you had. You knew you paid your dues. You knew what you. Now it's like, oh, are they going to raise the points this year? Like, oh, do I have enough points? Like, to me, it just doesn't make any. They're defeating the purpose of. I don't know. I don't understand.
Wasn't there a thing a while back with one of the resorts where you could literally? It was specifically designed for marathon, for racers, where you could buy the week. It wasn't based on points. So do you think that makes that option more attractive now?
They'll probably find a way to do something with that too.
Yeah. But I was just listening to you say that's your week. That's when you go.
They're only going to give you 5 days now because Disney's really popular. So we're going to. It's like
the only leave 2 days early anyway.
I don't think this particular change will make that more valuable, only because that basically the value to that was you were going at specific times when it was already high. And it basically this does lock it in. It guarantees you a week. So even if the points go up, then it would the way that I understand the way that works, you would still be able to stay the week. Yeah. You wouldn't be told you can only stay 5 days because you don't have enough points. Now I may be wrong on that, but when I looked into it, that's what it was saying. It's guaranteeing you like the old timeshare.
Yeah, like the old model.
You're buying a week, right? And so that would honestly. Would it make it more valuable? I guess, it probably would, because then it would lock in. That makes sense. It would lock in weeks worth.
Especially from a resale standpoint. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, because you could always opt out too and use your point. You don't have to. You could have that option, but then say,
you don't have to do it that week. The only thing is they kind of balance that out by charging more per point for getting.
Right, but I wonder if they knew this was coming when they offered.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I mean, here's a fun fact: Disney's not stupid.
Yeah.
They're always looking way ahead.
I hate to sound like we're being very negative, but like we've discussed this, and Emily has too. I know she's not on tonight, but like just over the last couple of years, just some of the decisions, as owners. I mean, Brad's been an owner longer than obviously Emily and I have, but we just scratch our heads. We're just like, why are you like you have something that's working and it's super popular and that's selling at like triple or quadruple the price of when it first opened. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why are you messing with that?
It's honestly something that like, unlike a vehicle or anything like that, it's not depreciating after you purchase it. Like people are still selling contracts over 25 years old and still making money on them. Like, which is crazy. But like, why are you messing with the formula? It's working. I know you maybe want to curb, the resale market, and you're kind of doing that with a lot of the perks. People are still. I mean, that is working for them. I mean, even though some of us don't like it, but just some of these things are just like you're not making it easier for us, and it's just. I mean, and unfortunately, the people making the decisions are the ones that aren't staying and aren't DVC owners. I mean, so.
Right.
But,
and for anybody that's out there listening,
we don't want to be negative on the show. We're just disappointed, like we always say, Tim. Right? We're just
exactly.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Just disappointed.
Just make better choices next time.
I was going to say, I've been an owner for a long time, and here's the thing: there are times when I get frustrated, and I just don't get it. Absolutely, we all do. But to the listeners out there, and I think this is to what you're saying, Joe. Listen, we're frustrated. Sure, we are. But am I going to rush out to sell my contract because it's not worth it anymore? No, it's still the value. It still produces the value for me. But I'm with you, Joe. Why? It's not so much that I feel like I'm being ripped off. It's just that I can't tell if I am.
Right.
It's so confusing, and it makes you start to worry. Are they doing something shady? And maybe they're not, but you make it so convoluted. It's like, why? It's just, it doesn't have to be this hard.
100% certain.
It doesn't have to be this hard. But anyway, but I'm not selling anytime soon. I love my product. And
if you already own, you can now extend that even longer.
You stole my segue. I was just about to.
And Joe slides into third.
Stole my segue.
Joe.
Christmas, Joseph.
What's your story, Joe?
Speaking of that, Tim, we're going to go to story number 3 from our friends over at DVCnews.com.
Love them.
They're talking about the adoption rate of the 15-year extension at Old Key West. And I had brought this up a couple of shows ago.
Yes, you did.
I feel that like this is going to start being a commonplace thing where you're still going to have owners that their contracts are coming up or like are less than or more than half, used. And it's like, well, so instead of trying to find new, owners to buy in at $200 and some a point, we'll just offer a bone to our current owners to extend a little bit more. I'm kind of hoping that happens.
Half least resistance.
Exactly. So you already own it. Like, yeah, I'll extend for a little bit. So the story reads that 12 years ago, Disney Vacation Club offered owners at Old Key West Resort the opportunity to extend the expiration date of their contracts from January 31st, 2042 to January 31st, 2057. Based on documentation recently filed, we now have an idea of what percent of Old Key West total points were extended since the initial offering back in 2007. In 2007, Old Key West owners could pay $25 per point, initially discounted to $15 per point, to extend their ownership for an additional 15 years. I would totally be on board for that.
That's $1 a year per point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Earlier this year, Disney filed 8,517 Old Key West extension deeds, or about 19.1% of Old Key West total points. That's still a good amount. It doesn't maybe sound like a lot, but this is almost 20% of their points.
20%. Okay.
It's a quarter.
You have to figure that at least, 40% are probably dead?
But I wonder what the total amount of points for that resort is. I don't have the number in front of me, but think about it, almost a quarter of those points. It's probably
of total points?
Yeah, that were renewed. But those who chose not to extend were asked to submit a quit claim deed conceding ownership back to Disney as the original January 2042 end date. Now, let me ask you a question. I don't know about this. If anybody out there listening, if you submit a quit claim deed, is there anything – I wish Emily was out here. Is that like a legal thing where you can't resell it? Like if you're submitting this quit claim deed claiming ownership back to Disney back to 2042, is that like saying you can't resell it, or is it just saying that like that original contract, doesn't matter who owns it, it's going to go back to Disney 2042?
I would think it's the latter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Like I feel like you can still resell the years you have remaining.
It's definitely going back to Disney no matter what on 2042.
Well, I would go out on a limb and say that it's definitely the latter, because a lot of contracts you can buy on the resale market are ones with are without the extension. Okay. So somebody's selling them. If they did a quick claim deed, then they're still selling their contracts. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So obviously it must be the latter. It must be okay to do it because they're still doing it. Because when you go to a resale place, it'll show it. It's either a 2042 contract or a 2057 contract, and you can buy either one.
So the article continues to say that the percentage of points owned by the general public with the extended 2057 expiration date has continued to increase every year since then. An Old Key West deed sold by Disney since September 2007 have the later expiration date. Also, when Disney reacquires an Old Key West deed with the original 2042 expiration date via foreclosure proceedings or by exercising its right of first refusal on resale transactions, it resells the point with the later 2057 expiration date.
Okay, can you explain this to me?
So essentially, 2042 contracts, if Disney buys them back or gets them, if an owner forecloses on them, doesn't pay their maintenance dues anymore, say I don't want it anymore.
That's where foreclosure comes in. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Or if they get or they're scooping them up in ROFR and just artificially extending them, they're essentially making the new date 2057 artificially.
Yeah. Any points they get back, they resell at 2057
because they can get more money for it. I'm assuming.
Sure, maybe you sell them. I check out more years. So, contract extensions have never been made available for any other DVC resort. 5 other properties currently share the 2042 expiration date, including Disney's Boardwalk Villas, Disney's Beach Club Villas, Boulder Ridge Villas at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, Disney's Vero Beach Resort, and Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort. And those properties are extremely popular, and they will not be doing that. So I would assume that Saratoga would probably be the next one to be done because they have a hard time filling. I'm sure I would do this. I know Brad probably would do this. But if you own it like Boardwalk, those are like some really hard contracts to come by. And Beach Club, they're going to resell those at full tilt. Because even when I went to go do my little DVC tour, I went and sat down to the spiel a couple months ago. I told my guide, he's like, well, what do you want? I was like, give me a Boardwalk contract. He picked up the phone and called over. He's like, how many points you want? I said, 125. He goes, yep, we can get it free at this price. Like, they're still out there, and they're selling it at a higher price than like a full, that you can get Saratoga Old Key West contracts for. So there's still a demand for that. So I mean, why would they extend it for such a small amount? They'll probably resell those at like a full. They'll have a brand new, fire sale for those, I'm sure.
So so here's my question as a renter, not knowing all the rules. If you buy one of those contracts like that, are you considered? Do you get all the perks of having bought from Disney for DVC?
Yes. If you buy a direct contract, that's for one of the other resorts, you get a blue card.
Interesting.
So if Joe bought Boardwalk from Disney,
he would have got the card.
I would have got the card, yes. Yeah, because it was Disney's resale.
And so as long as it's Disney's resale, you're still you still got. Also, it looks like Tim posted some late breaking information for you up there, Joe. If you want to go back and read,
in purple.
It's in purple. Do you see it?
Are you talking to me?
Darling.
Hold on, I'm looking. Hold on.
Hang on. Now it's red. Now it's red.
That's right. It's answering your question about how many total points were sold.
Oh,
I'm looking for. I don't see.
Okay, here, I'll read it for you.
What chat is it in? Hold on.
It's on the document. It's on the shared Google Doc.
I had the document up. Oh, no.
Okay, listen. Do you want me to read it to you?
I got the Orlando Sentinel up. Crap. All right, go ahead.
I'm not in charge of the Sentinel.
In fact, March 2010, Disney has sold more than 550,000 Old Key West points with the 2057 ending date. Combined with the 1.48 million points voluntarily extended, more than 2 million points owned by the public now have the January 2057 contract end date. This total represents more than 1/4 of the 7.7 million points which make up Disney's Old Key West Resort.
Damn, 7.7 total million points.
So
boom.
That's a lot of points.
So to go to what you were saying. So to go to what you were saying, Joe. While I do appreciate the logic, here's where I've got the feeling that I still think they're going to come up with some kind of a, not doing exactly like they did before, some kind of a hybrid rather than just taking all the points back. Because here's the thing. In 2042, you've got Boardwalk Villas, Beach Club Villas, Boulder Ridge, Disney Vero, Disney Hilton Head. If they take back all those points in 2042,
that's a lot of inventory.
And they have to resell that inventory.
That's a good point.
Whoa, that's a lot of points to start moving, man.
You know what they'll probably do, Brad? They'll probably do some kind of extremely limited time thing, and almost like they're putting a gun to it. Be like, you want it now, yes or no? Because we'll be people are going to panic, and they'll be like, I want to keep my boardwalk,
especially in a climate where they're not selling out their new venues.
Yeah, and I think where they're going to go, this is me, I think the over-under is you're going to be able to do it, and it's going to cost you $100 a point. $80 a point. It's not going to cost you $25 or $15. I promise you that. It's going to be expensive, but you're going to look at it and go, but it's still a better deal. And if I'm still using it, it makes sense to buy it now at $100 a point than to try to and get my blue card than to buy it used from somebody else for that or more and get no benefit. I think they're going to find a sweet spot in there where they'll make back enough. And then, like you said, Joe, I think you're right. They're not going to try to move all the points that way, but they're going to try to do the
less desirables
push to sell them as fast as they can to get people to sign back up, make a big onslaught of cash, and then just kind of wait it out after that.
My goodness, I want to talk to these people who did not buy in at $15. I need the phone numbers. I just need to talk to them. I just want to talk, people. Just call me. I just want to talk.
Well, I didn't get in that early, but mine were 60, and I'm feeling pretty good. So
I'll post that in the doc.
How long did they? Does anybody know how long and how many tiers they offered this 2057 option? Because if they started at 15 and then they did 25, and you said you bought in at 60, Brad?
Well, my 60, yeah. Well, the 15 to 25 is the extension, yeah. And they did two. They only did the 2 tiers. If I remember it correctly, Joe, is that what you remember?
I remember.
They offered it once for 25, then they lowered it because they wanted to.
They wanted a little bit more.
And my guess is all these that they're pulling in on ROFR,
Rover.
they're not. It's not. It's more than that per point when they resell it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Because the contracts, the market, the resale market is, they've got it dialed in. So you do not see contracts hitting the resale market saying, well, everybody else is selling their Animal Kingdom at, $75, $80 a point. So I'm going to sell mine for $30. No. Nobody's giving it.
Oh, you could do it. You're just going to scoop it up.
Exactly. It's automatically roasted.
Just wasting your time.
Because the market is so good. Yeah, you don't see those contracts. They don't exist. So
the ones that are set for 2042 expiration, you've got Boardwalk, you've got Beach Club, you've got Boulder Ridge, Vero, and Hilton Head. If you were to bet on the one that they might extend, which one would you go with?
Beach Club and Boardwalk.
That would be my guess too.
Yeah, because they're also now that I think about it, they're also the larger ones. Hilton Head is so small.
Exactly.
And Vero, and Hilton Head's impossible to get in, man. The only time I've gotten in there was like in December for like one night.
Oh wow!
I think I got in there.
And Boulder Ridge is tiny.
Expensive. Is Boulder Ridge small?
Boulder Ridge is small too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's small.
Hmm.
Boardwalk is huge. I know that.
Yeah.
Yep. They're big and they're so desirable that they'll be able to make a quick, fast switch of customers, and they can ask for a higher dollar.
I was about to say,
right now the resale market is much higher for those points.
Yes,
so they can get their money out of it.
At 25 and 15. If you were to guess what they would do Boardwalk or Beach Club at per point, what would it be?
Probably double,
75 up.
Yes, probably.
Yeah. It's going to be more like 75.
Brad, take the current whatever they're selling for right now. Probably what, 150 or 60. I don't even know. I forgot what even number the guy even mentioned because I know I wasn't going to buy it. But and probably cut it by not 50%, but you probably look it up. If it was like 160 point, I would say even cut it by probably 90 point. No, I do 90 point. Oh, it's half. That's 50% off. We're giving it to you 50% off for it. So, I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing.
This is all a speculation.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting because then when it happens, we can be like, hey, we talked about this.
Look how smart we are.
Look how smart we are. Thanks, Disney, for listening to us.
It was all Tim.
Seasons,
it was all Tim. He knew what he was talking about.
The seven seasons.
Yeah.
It's a 7 season.
Oh
yeah, they'll start. Okay, now if you own in October, we'll give you $30 a point. But if you own in November, we'll give you $40 a point. We'll give you 12 seasons of buyback. Yeah.
Every month is going to be its own season.
Yeah. Oh my God!
All right, guys. Before we wrap up the show, because we're going to have to wrap it up here pretty soon.
Yeah, we do.
This is HolidayThon 2019. I know, it's magical. I want to hear, do you guys have any kind of special wish for the new year for DVC members?
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh, like it.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
I
almost said something, and that would have been bad.
In full. Were you going to say age before beauty, Mr. Coates?
No,
Get yourself in trouble, Brad.
I'm confident I'd win that one. I'm confident.
Listen, in full disclosure, I'm prepared for this.
I am the old fart in the room. I admit it. Can I say that? Keep our rating?
I think you can say that. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So my wish for DVC members, and really all of Blueprint Nation, is one of my favorite quotes from Walt Disney is that the greatest moments in life are not concerned with selfish achievements, but rather with the things we do for people we love and esteem. So my wish for DVC and all of Blueprint Nation is that 2020 be filled with being aware and being active in doing things for the people that we love and care for and respect. I have had a year filled with not only being able to do that, but having that done for me. And it is an incredible honor and just a wonderful moment of realization that we're all in this together, people. So in the famous words of Uncle Bob,
see you, everybody.
We're out.
Just be nice.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry, wrong one.
Nice.
Be nice and think of one another.
Aw, Brad, what's your wish?
Usually I'm the one that makes us cry when we do all this, but she's the one.
I know. I feel like we should just go out on that.
So I guess world peace. Yeah, I'm going for a nation where the Democrats and Republicans can sit down in a room and act like adults and actually lead our nation and help. Okay, never mind. So none of this is going to happen.
No. Okay, Joe, what do you got?
Get along way better than adults. Let's go for a nation run by toddlers.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, let's just take them all to Disneyland, Disney World, and that'll fix it.
Either way.
We just need to get them in the kingdom, get a little magic. I'm kind of along the same line of what you were saying. What I was thinking was, as Joe mentioned, we've been members for a while. We bought our first contract in 2006. We have worked the system. We have long gotten our money's worth out of our contracts. Trust me, we have wore those puppies out. We've done at least one thing Disney every year of my youngest daughter's life, and she's about to turn 21. So we've experienced the magic over and over, and DVC was the driving force that made it possible for us to do those things. It just wouldn't have been possible without it. And so now, as I get ready to kind of move into the next phase, my oldest girl is getting married in June, and my baby girl is going to be 21 and is in college and just not quite as interested in hanging out with mom and dad like she used to. She's off and building her life. I'm looking for DVC members to when I say I wasn't sure how to answer it. For me, for 2020, it's finding new ways to use the beauty of DVC to continue to create memories like we've done for the last 21 years. It's been incredible, and I don't want to stop. My contract's not out yet, so I got a few more good years left in me. So whether it's grandkids or like I mentioned earlier, I'm taking my youngest, just her and me, going on a daddy-daughter trip, and going to see Star Wars because that's her thing, and just finding new ways to create new magic. Even though, and not letting it get old. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at for 2020. I just want to find ways to keep the magic fresh, but I got to find new ways to do it because it's not my baby girls going and sitting in Minnie's lap and being all excited anymore. That ship's done sailed. But I want to find ways to continue to make the magic happen for my family and to create those memories.
Very nice.
I love the phrase, my contract's not up yet. That is my new motto.
There you go.
I'm going to wear that puppy out. I'm going to be that guy that goes,
Brad.
How long are you going to live, Brad? Well, let me see. When's the end of my contract? Let me see. I'm going to live at least that long. I'm telling you.
Joe, what's your wish for DVC members?
Well, Santa Tim, let me tell you. So I would say there's a lot going on in Disney World right now. A lot of construction. Epcot's being torn up. They're building Reflections. They're trying to sell Riviera, the Skyline. There's a lot going on. So what I'm asking for is stability. I want a year of stability. And the reason why I'm saying that is we just kind of discussed it today. There's a lot going on in our favorite place in the world, okay? Like they said, Epcot's being torn up. They're getting ready for the 50th anniversary coming up. The last thing we need as DVC members is all of these changes going on in a place that's like already upside down already. So, and a lot's happened over the last couple of years. And we've been doing this show for a long time. Mm-hmm. How many years have we been doing this, Tim? A while. And we enjoy doing it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like over the last year or two, it's become a little more negative. We joke about it, but there's been a lot more negative stories. I feel like when we used to do the show, we had so many more questions about buying, and we couldn't praise that enough. Now I feel like we're always talking about the negative stuff of it. There's so many changes, and they're not always for the good, we feel like. And I think we're all seasoned owners. Brad's been around since 2006. I've been around since 2014, 2015. Rebecca's been obviously renting for a while, and she's very versed on what's going on. Emily is the same thing with what's going on following, the Diz Twitter and all that stuff. And so many changes are going on. I don't feel like they're positive that I just feel like we need a year of stability where it's just like status quo, use your points, have a good time. The world is a mess right now. like they're tearing everything up, but you can still go and use your points to have a good time at the resorts and not worry about like, do I have enough points for the season, or can I use them here, or if I buy this here, there's so many different things going on. So it sounds kind of cheesy. I don't know if it's making sense, but I just want a year of DVC stability.
I love it.
That's all I want. Is just a nice, easy year. It's positive and
smooth
good,
waters.
Riviera's selling well, and people are having a good time, and people aren't falling through the beds, and all kinds of all kinds of things like that are not happening. Just a year of solid stability and positiveness. That's what I'm hoping for.
I like it.
Awesome.
Joe.
That's deep.
Love it.
That is deep.
That's deep, Joe.
All right. Before I wrap it up, we need to have everybody say, where can we find you? Joe, since you just talked, where can people find you at? Where are you hanging out?
You can find me at the Mickey Dudes podcast. You can also find me on Twitter at JoeQuat. I want to wish everybody, I don't know if we're going to be on before Christmas. Probably not. This is HolidayThon. So Everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to everybody. And for all who are going to be down in Walt Disney World for Marathon Weekend, myself and Brad will be down there. So hit us up on Twitter, look us up. But happy holidays, everybody.
Awesome. Brad, where are you?
I'm hanging out a lot at the Looper Nation Live. I'm actually got a new Facebook page. I'm at Family Fun Travels by Brad. Come by and check it out, ask questions, and always here to. I love it when people ask questions on Looper Nation Live and ask us to answer questions. Please keep bringing those questions. We'd much rather answer your questions than give you news stories.
There you go. Rebecca, where are you?
I'm with you, Joe. Let's go back to the days when it was
positiveness.
We're answering and helping people to really figure this out and enjoy it. So, yep. Anyway, sorry.
Awesome, no problem. Rebecca.
Well, stability is not really my thing.
Rebecca's not stable.
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Twitter, which is my favorite, is Tequila Becca. Happy all the things to everyone during this holiday season. You can find me on Looper Nation, and you can find me in Disney in March. And I hope you do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. I'm Tim Scott, Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. Everyone. Yeah, share the gateway to the magic. Ho, ho, ho. Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.